So I wanted to cover some of the basics when it comes to personal finances. So not everyone has a clear picture of what their financial life looks like because they're afraid of looking at and how bad it might be. So if you want to get ahead, you need to take an honest look at what your finances are, your money coming in, usually a 9 to 5 job, but there are other ways of money coming in, whether it's dividends from a stock investment, whether it's rental income, royalties from a book or digital product of some sort. There are many potential incomes, which will be another video. But you want to look at your money coming in, your money going out, which is usually referred to as your liabilities. So, what kind of bank accounts you have will kind of see those things as a snapshot, when money is going into your bank account and when it's going out to pay bills. You want to take a look at, what credit cards you have and how much you owe on each. You want to take a look at all your different loans, whether you have a mortgage, a car payment, if you have a personal loan. And then once you have an idea of how much you owe between all your debts, you'd also want to take a look at any other potential bills, that you might have monthly, your car insurance, your utility bills, rent. Then you can gauge whether your cash flow is positive or negative. Usually, if you have a high amount of debt, that would indicate that you're probably spending more than you're making, but not always the case. If you had an emergency where you had to pay $5,000 to get your car fixed, maybe that was a one-time thing that you aren't normally paying more than you earn, but that's why it's suggested you start building an emergency fund for something like that unexpected. Then once you have a look at your whole financial situation, it's good to set a goal for how much you want to have saved, like I just mentioned, an emergency fund, or just having like a cushion for in case if bills increase. Also, you want to consider starting to invest if you aren't already. You can't depend on the government being able to take care of you when you retire. So having a 401k, having money invested in the stock market, preferably something that pays a dividend. But some people like to buy and sell, buy cheap and sell high. That's kind of dependent on timing, and you might lose money if you pick wrong. So I'm weary of the whole, buy low, sell high. Like I'm kind of leery of that when, dividends can pay you every month or quarterly or annually, depending on the stock. That's a payment for just holding on to something. Um, so hopefully you found some value in this. Go check out some of my other videos and see if you consider subscribing. And if you found some value, also consider hitting the like button. Thanks and have a good day.